this is an iHeart podcast.
Then the space hamster flew his hot air balloon all the way to the bottom of the ocean.
Where did that story come from? Book? Dream? Nope. It came from a conversation. Meet Miko Mini Plus, the AI companion that co-creates personalized story adventures with your child in real time.
What color was the hamster's cape? And what did he pack for lunch?
Unlock your child's imagination. Discover Miko Mini Plus and the magic of AI exclusively at Costco.
Time for a sofa upgrade? Introducing Anabe sofas, where designer style meets budget-friendly prices. Every Anabe sofa is modular, allowing you to rearrange your space effortlessly. Perfect for both small and large spaces, Anabe is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out. Say goodbye to stains and messes with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics that make cleaning easy. Liquids simply slide right off. Designed for custom comfort, our high-resilience foam lets you choose between a sink-in feel or a supportive memory foam blend. Plus, our pet-friendly, stain-resistant fabrics ensure your sofa stays beautiful for years. Don't compromise quality for price. Visit washablesofas.com to upgrade your living space today. Sofas start at just $699 with no-risk returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get early access to Black Friday now. The biggest sale of the year can save you up to 60% off, plus free shipping and free returns. Shop now at washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Tornadoes in the Midwest, hurricanes on the coast, wildfires out west, natural disasters strike without warning anywhere.
When the grid goes down, Rapid Radios keeps you in control. No monthly fees, just reliable communication between you and the people who matter. When power's out and panic sets in, push a button and you're instantly connected.
Rapid Radios, built for the unexpected, ready for anything, because staying in touch shouldn't depend on luck. How lucky are you? Visit rapidradios.com today.
We're living through an exciting moment when it comes to keeping our brains healthy. American innovators are cracking the code on Alzheimer's. Real breakthroughs helping people keep their memories, their independence, their lives. But here's the truth. Previous administrations' policies could slow progress down. Our president is working to cut through the bureaucracy. That's where the Market Institute comes in. Their team is leading the fight to cut red tape, empower patients, and unleash innovation. America's got the best doctors, researchers, and entrepreneurs in the world ready to defeat Alzheimer's. They're just asking for the government to work for the people. Join the fight at marketinstitute.org. That's marketinstitute.org. Because when we free the market, we make America healthier. Now you can stream Fox News live on the Fox One app. Stay on top of breaking news and the biggest stories live as they happen, all from the Fox voices you trust, bringing you the coverage you won't find anywhere else.
Start your 7-day free trial today. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions. Fox One, we live for live streaming now.
Welcome, everybody. Wednesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show kicks off right now. A lot going on. So we know yesterday when I was on the air with you, Clay will, in fact, call us from his super secret mission abroad this hour. So we're going to set that up for you. Clay's out for the week. He's traveling, but he wants to tell you what he's been up to. One of you might have already guessed it, which was a pretty remarkable thing. But he'll be joining us later on. And we also have Michael Whatley joining. He's running for Senate in North Carolina. So looking forward to that as that conversation gets rolling. Now, we had yesterday the House all voting in favor of, except for one guy, a Republican, voting in favor of the Epstein Transparency Act. And then we had last night the Senate passing the same bill unanimously. Senators locked in agreement, automatically passing the bill as soon as it came in from the House. Just looking at the updates here. Once the president signs the bill, the Justice Department has 30 days to release materials related to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is moving. The president has already said that he believes this is, or that he's supportive of this now. He has said that he thinks this is the right move. So we're going to get into what's going to happen here. It's not like we're going to know all of the details, even for some time here. There may be further redactions that happen, or rather that we will have to contend with, because my sense is if the redactions are extensive enough, then people will say that's not going to fly. That's not good enough. There have to be more things that are released. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is that there's nothing massive, and I say massive, in the information that is released, the files, if you will, of this investigation. And then people just say they hid stuff, and there's still a clamoring for more transparency, more. Those are all the things. Those are some of the things that I think could come out of this. But there was this today, as I was preparing for our show here. This is cut 27. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, referring to the Epstein investigation as a pending investigation. Play 27.
The issue with the new information that you just indicated, is the department seeking information perhaps from the Epstein estate because Mr. Blanche did not have that information when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell? What new information? And would you limit the new investigation to just those named persons that the president talked about, or is this a broad, open-ended investigation?
I would refer to the Deputy Attorney General's post that he put out on X, and we're not going to say anything else on that because now it is a pending investigation in the Southern District of New York.
A pending investigation. Meanwhile, the House has demanded Epstein financial records from J.P. Morgan Chase, Deutsche Bank, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's just in the last 24 hours. Now, a few things here. I can't tell you. I don't know, obviously, and none of you know. No one outside of a very small circle knows what is in this release that Donald Trump, I am very confident, is going to sign the final step, if you will, before the release. And then there's 30 days. So we're going to wait a bit. We're going to wait a bit for this information. I don't know exactly how many days, but they have up to 30 days to release. Maybe it'll come much faster than that. We'll see how the bureaucracy handles this. But I sit here and I say to myself, because you know, and the House has already released 65,000 documents related to Epstein. You know very well that I have been pounding a certain drum on this issue of follow the money. Follow the money. It is completely unthinkable to me, or rather it should be unthinkable, maybe a better way of putting it, that we do not have a full accounting of how Epstein pulled together a fortune that was approaching $1 billion. This guy did not create some new product. He did not found some company. He was not some, hedge fund guy running $30 billion of other people's money. There are ways you can make $1 billion. Tax advice is not one of them. It's just not one of them. And so this then brings up, how did he make this money? Why is it that there were some people in Epstein's orbit who were unbelievably, and I mean that in the real sense of can't believe it, unbelievably generous to him? Why? The money, I think, is the single best chance we have to get these answers. According to the subpoenas that were just put out by the House, J.P. Morgan Chase began an internal investigation into accounts previously held by Epstein, flagging some 4,700 transactions as suspicious. Epstein held accounts and banked with Deutsche Bank from 2013 until 2018. So they're going back in here into the money trail. And I sit here wondering how it is. And by the way, I want to be clear that sometimes I will ask questions here that are rhetorical because something isn't adding up. How is it possible that we don't have a full and clear understanding of where all of Epstein's money came from? We've had a little bit here, a little bit there. but this should be obvious. And I might add, if it's somewhere already, if they have the flow chart of funds, if it's in the release, why haven't we already been given it? Why is it taking all of this pressure and all of this time? Why is it taking us to this place to be in a situation to finally get those answers? So there's more that is coming out here. Now, I think you can pretty much set your watch to this one, no matter what happens here with the files in terms of nothing on. This is all about getting Trump for the Democrats. And there's something very grotesque about Democrats suddenly caring. They didn't care about this during the Biden administration, suddenly caring so much about the Epstein files, Epstein's victims, all of this. It's hard not to view it as posturing, because it is posturing, meant to create the moral high ground from which they can throw mud at Donald Trump, or at least the appearance of such a thing. No matter what happens with these files, I can assure you, they will not say, you know, Trump is cleared. Trump didn't do anything. And so that also brings us to why I think Trump wasn't so immediately in favor of the release. Because no matter how much transparency he offers, or rather he gives, and for a lot of you, I understand this is a follow through on a campaign promise. So you want it irrespective of anything else. And that's very valid. And clearly Trump has decided that that's what's going to happen. This should have been done, I think a lot of people recognize now, sooner. A lot of you were calling in and demanding it, to which I just kept saying, yeah, I want more transparency. I don't have the files, right? It says it's not in my power to release them. All we can do is air, as we did, our sense that there's more here and that there's more to be uncovered. And I think that has certainly happened. I think that has certainly been a very real motivation here, right? Telling people, having the Trump base come forward and say, we don't have the answers we want. We're not accepting anything else. It's time for this all to come clean. Now, Speaker Johnson, he is pointing out here, this is cut one. He's saying that the president has nothing to do with it. The Democrats are going to weaponize it. Just be prepared for this. They're going to attack Trump, even if his name doesn't appear one more time in the files. Play clip one.
This is a political exercise for Democrats, and it pains me to say it. I wish that was not the truth, but it is, and it's undeniable. This is as deceitful and dishonest as their pointless stunt was to shut the government down. Democrats are using the Epstein tragedy, the unspeakable evils that this guy committed with his trafficking ring and all of the abuses that they made these young women go through. They're using that as a political weapon to try to distract from their failures as a party and to try their best to try to tie President Trump somehow into this wretched scandal. The president had nothing to do with it. He's been very clear, and he has nothing to hide, and that's why he's endorsed the vote today.
I think that's where we are. I think the president is about to show all of his naysayers, detractors, haters. They're haters. They're not detractors. And they're deranged in many cases. They hate him in a way that is irrational and that is extreme to the point of being unhealthy, Trump derangement syndrome. But they're not going to ever say that it's enough. You can never convince the people who have been trying to dirty Trump up with Epstein that there's not more to be found that would prove that Trump is really the bad guy. So just be prepared for that. And in fact, Chuck Schumer's out there saying already that this is, and this is cut 3, one of the worst, most damaging moments of the Trump presidency.
This will go down as one of the most damaging moments of Donald Trump's presidency. In trying so hard to hide the truth, Donald Trump has provoked the fiercest rebellion he's ever faced among his own supporters, both in Congress and around the country. All the lying, all the broken promises about transparency, all the bullying and threats to members of Congress who wanted these files released, it's all blown up in Donald Trump's face. His usual methods of intimidation and dishonesty have failed spectacularly in this instance.
So we are to believe, if you listen to Chuck Schumer there, who's had a rough go of it lately, you know, the whole Schumer shutdown disaster for him politically, people are realizing the guy's too old. Whatever fastball he used to have is no longer there. Chuck Schumer is saying this is such a disaster. We are to believe that the Biden DOJ, which was on a jihad against Trump, we are to believe that they had derogatory information about Donald Trump while they were prosecuting him in two federal criminal trials that were, as we know, totally politically motivated, but that they didn't release this? How does that add up? You know, they never really addressed this. They just didn't pay attention. It's not hard. You have all these files, especially now with AI. I'm going to tell you something. You could find Trump's name and find every reference to him in seconds doing a simple search. And you could use AI to find anything that even vaguely is Trump adjacent in all these documents. So don't tell me, oh, they didn't have the manpower. They didn't have the ability to figure this out. No, they're doing this because, for one thing, unfortunately, they have been successful in completely changing the national political conversation away from the stupidity, the selfishness, and the absurdity and the destruction of the Schumer shutdown. They've already managed. You notice, does it even feel like we had a month-long government shutdown for no good reason except for a Democrat tantrum? Feels like it was years ago now because they've completely shifted the conversation. That's already happened. I can't stop it. You know, I wish I had the power to direct the whole national conversation. We've got millions of you who listen, but there's 350 million people in the country when you add all the illegals, something like that. So here we are, and we're going to see Trump. We're going to see Trump signing this, and then there's going to be more files released, and we'll continue to work through them. I do not believe there will be a smoking gun. I was actually on with Piers Morgan for his show, which will be airing later today, and Piers dramatically, strenuously disagrees with me on this. He thinks that there are people who are going to go to prison over what's in the. I just don't see it, because the DOJ then would have to admit that they were holding files that should have brought prosecutions for child sex traffickers. Really? And the DOJ, I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible to believe the DOJ would do that, but it's pretty extreme. That's quite a stretch. And then they're going to release it and have to say, oh, yeah, we were covering up for these guys. Are people even going to accept this? Ask yourself this question. Ask it now. Are people going to accept, if they do put out all the stuff they've got in their possession, will there be an acceptance that this is everything that they really have? Will we ever get all the answers? This is the reality of this moment we find ourselves in. I want to take your calls, take your talkbacks on this. 800-282-2882. I've been on the show for 4 years, and Pure Talk has been a steadfast part of the program. Gosh, it'll be 5 years in June. Little known fact, they wanted to be the first sponsor you heard when Clay and I came together to co-host this program. So we totally appreciate them. We never forget that. Let me tell you, though, about their best offer ever, because this is about you. Pure Talk is offering you unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data with a 30-gig hotspot for just $29.95 a month for life. That's their lowest price ever. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan, normally $65 a month, now through December 7th, $29.95 a month. You're saving over 50% a month every month for life, let alone the savings percentage you might realize from a more expensive plan from another carrier. And if you're wondering, yes, this is on their ultra-fast 5G network. It's extremely short-lived, though, this offer. Make the switch today. Dial pound 250, say Clay and Buck for Pure Talk's best unlimited plan for just $29.95 a month. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team can have you switched in minutes. Keep your phone, keep your number, start saving with unlimited for life for less than $30 a month. Dial pound 250, say Clay and Buck to switch to my wireless company, Pure Talk. Taxes and fees not included. Some restrictions apply. See puretalk.com for details. Offer expires December 7th, 2025.
Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. Mic drops that never sounded so good. Find them on the free iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Shh, you won't believe what my new friend just told me about dinosaurs.
Is your child having conversations you never imagined? Are they learning without realizing it? It's not a tablet. It's not a toy. It's Miko Mini Plus. the AI-powered companion that turns curiosity into endless learning. Hear the future of playtime. Meet the extraordinary Miko Mini Plus. Only at Costco.
There's nothing like sinking into luxury. Anabe sofas combine ultimate comfort and design at an affordable price. Anabe has designed the only fully machine washable sofa from top to bottom. The stain-resistant performance fabric slipcovers and cloud-like frame duvet can go straight into your wash. Perfect for anyone with kids, pets, or anyone who loves an easy-to-clean, spotless sofa. With a modular design and changeable slipcovers, you can customize your sofa to fit any space and style. Whether you need a single chair, love seat, or a luxuriously large sectional, Anabe has you covered. Visit washablesofas.com to upgrade your home. Sofas start at just $699. And right now, get early access to Black Friday savings, up to 60% off store-wide with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Shop now at washablesofas.com. Add a little to your life. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
We're living through an exciting moment when it comes to keeping our brains healthy. American innovators are cracking the code on Alzheimer's. Real breakthroughs helping people keep their memories, their independence, their lives. But here's the truth. Previous administrations' policies could slow progress down. Our president is working to cut through the bureaucracy. That's where the Market Institute comes in. Their team is leading the fight to cut red tape, empower patients, and unleash innovation. America's got the best doctors, researchers, and entrepreneurs in the world ready to defeat Alzheimer's. They're just asking for the government to work for the people. Join the fight at marketinstitute.org. That's marketinstitute.org. Because when we free the market, we make America healthier.
In all the time we've been endorsing Pure Talk, my wireless company, I can honestly say I've never seen an offer like this from them before. Listen to this. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data with a 30-gig hotspot for just $29.95 a month for life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan, normally $65 a month. Now through December 7th, just $29.95 a month. You're saving over 50% every month for life. Yes, that's on their crazy fast 5G network. But this offer is extremely short-lived. Make the switch today, then tell all your friends. Go to puretalk.com/buck for Pure Talk's best unlimited plan for just $29.95 a month for life. Make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. Keep your phone, keep your number, and start saving with unlimited for life for just $29.95 a month. Again, that's puretalk.com/buck to switch to my wireless company, Pure Talk.
Taxes and fees not included. Some restrictions apply. See puretalk.com for details. Offer ends 12/7/25.
America's Christian Credit Union stands firm in faith, serves the community, and delivers top financial services. With Elite Checking, earn up to 4% APY on balances under $15,000. Get paid early, enjoy loan discounts, and more. Because at ACCU, your money should reflect your mission. Visit americaschristiancu.com/elite to learn more. Early pay depends on when your employer sends your paycheck. We can't guarantee early direct deposit. APY equals annual percentage yield. America's Christian Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back into the Clay and Buck Show. As the name implies, there are two of us, but some of us go on fancy international man of mystery tours and stuff their faces with delicious pasta and do other cool things, but they will call in from said mission. Mr. Clay Travis joins us. Tell us where you are first, Clay.
I am in Rome. I'm overlooking the tomb of Augustus. And I got to go and see the Pope today in the Vatican, to complete this idea that we had, which I think was a pretty cool one, to invite the Pope to come to Chicago and throw out an opening pitch for the Chicago White Sox. So all of this has happened today. It's evening, getting ready to go out and have some wine and have a good dinner, but it was an awesome day. So that was the super secret trip. I didn't want to step on anything about the process of getting that invite out to the Pope, but got to meet the ambassadors to Italy and the Vatican City. Got to be there for the for the offer to the Pope. And there's video and footage, I think, that's going to be up on Outkick soon that we'll try to get shared with you guys.
So you have met with the pontiff. You're not a Catholic, right, Clay?
No, I am not. Yeah, and
you're not.
And but it was a yes. I'm certainly.
What I was going to say is
of people.
Right, for our Catholic audience, this is like a really, really big deal. It would be amazing to be able to actually meet the Pope in person. What was it like? I mean, take us through this.
So it's a big.
Did he tell you that, Nick Saban is the greatest of all time? Like, did he make a sports joke? Like, did he bless you? Where did you see him? You got to give us some of these details.
So on Wednesday, they do a open public forum, sort of Pope address in many different languages, with probably 15,000 people, maybe more than that, in the square outside of St. Peter's. Outdoor, it was a great weather. I believe they have a big public area down on in the larger sort of plaza there. We were up close to the stage. He does all of his homily, his address, in multiple different languages, and then afterwards there are people that he greets. And the new owner of the Chicago White Sox happens to be a law school classmate of mine, and we were a couple of months ago sitting around trying to think of ways that he could introduce himself to the people of Chicago. And I had seen that J.D. Vance presents a Chicago Bears jersey to the Pope. And I said, you know what, you should invite him to come and throw out the first pitch at a proposed new stadium that they are in the process of working through in Chicago for the White Sox. And that seems like a good idea. And then the process of, okay, well, how do you get in touch with the Pope to be able to get a meeting? He seems really, really excited at the idea. He got for people out there who are sports fans, the Chicago White Sox won the World Series in 2005. And Pope Leo, obviously not the Pope then, was in the crowd at the World Series. And so he's a huge White Sox fan. And so my friend, the new owner, one of the new owners, soon to be officially the owner, got the whole team from 2005 to sign a White Sox jersey from that year, and then also conveyed the offer to the Pope, schedule permitting, for the Pope to come and throw out the first pitch when they open the stadium. Pope hasn't been, to my knowledge, to Chicago since 1979. So again, this happened early this morning in the Vatican, and is becoming a big story, obviously, in Chicago. And I think a lot of people are finding it to be just a awesome, cool story in general. Overall, if you are, there's not a particular political connotation to it or anything like that. But if you are a fan of sports, it's just kind of cool to have an American Pope and someone who is going to hopefully in the next couple of years be able to come to Chicago and do something incredibly unique and awesome in the city. So that's kind of
so the offer was made, but we don't yet know if the Pope is going to be able to do this. Is that right?
Well, the Pope's schedule, as one might imagine, is very busy. He said that he wants to do it. We've got to figure out exactly what the date is, but it's kind of what I would say is a conditional acceptance. He knew that the offer was coming. He was excited to be able to get the offer, to get the jersey, to be able to meet. And I think he's going to try and he said he's going to try and do it. So it could and should be a pretty awesome event.
Look at you, globetrotting.
Yeah, so just trying to do good things and make the world a little bit better place, as everyone assumes that I always will be trying to do.
And Clay is making his moves over there at the Catholic Rock of St. Peter. That is the church. So now tell me what you think about the Epstein file. Since we got you on the phone, since we got you,
I'm glad that everybody has voted to release him, Buck. You've got the rest of the show. I am going to have abundant amounts of wine tonight and have a great dinner in Rome. I hope that
all right,
that you have.
I'll handle it. You go have some gelato with Laura and the kids. Go have fun, and very cool. Congratulations on the meeting with the Pope, and thank you, sir. Come back Friday or Monday, whatever you got. We'll see you then.
Okay, we'll do. I'll see you.
Have fun, man. Have a good dinner. So there you go. Clay met the Pope. So there's that. And that was why he was gone this week. It's very exciting. Very exciting. The Pope. Also, I was going to read the email from Sissy, who said that that's what she thought was happening. And that's a pretty remarkable call. She said, I'm looking forward to hearing the details of Clay's super secret trip on the show. My guess is he got a once in a lifetime interview with the Pope since he's a baseball fan. Just a wild guess. There you go. You nailed it. And Sissy, we got your follow-up email. Oh my goodness, I got it correct. Clay and the Pope. Maybe I should buy a lottery ticket. So we did have, that was before Clay tweeted about this or put it out on X, but this was before that happened. Clay was supposed to reveal this on the show, but he's Clay. He does whatever he wants. So there we are. Team, why don't we, because we're going to have kind of a hard turn coming up here into the world of from meeting with the Pope to the release of the Epstein files. We're going to have a little bit of a transition to do, and we'll rack and stack some calls and some talkbacks on this one because I think that what we are seeing is hopefully what many of you have been demanding all along. We also have the White House weighing in on the filibuster via Caroline Leavitt, and Trump really rolling out the red carpet for the Saudi leadership, which is something that I think this is a good thing for the region, a good thing for America, for the Middle East, I mean. A good thing for America. I think you might see a normalization of relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia under this Trump presidency, furthering the Abraham Accords. And I think you might see a big move in the Middle East with regard to that, and Trump is trying to bring that about. Of course, there are the detractors, the haters out there, the people who are upset that Trump would sit with the head of state of a country that, whether we want to deal with the Saudis or not, is critical to our energy infrastructure, or rather energy markets. And we really don't have a choice. So why not have a constructive relationship with the Saudis? Why not try to encourage them to, yes, invest in America, which is a huge focus from Trump, but also to do what they can to liberalize. I know Saudi Arabia is an autocracy. I'm fully aware of and I know about the past with Saudi Arabia's role in, unfortunately, exporting the what used to be referred to very much as the Wahhabist ideology, which is a radical interpretation of Islam, setting up Wahhabist mosques all over the world. And they've moved away from that. They've become a constructive partner for security in the region, and they're making overtures toward a better relationship with Israel, and that would be very helpful for Middle East peace and stability. So that's why that's going on. Also, something else, we're going to have Michael Whatley joining us later. He's running for Senate up there in North Carolina, very important Senate seat. And there's some major immigration enforcement operations underway in North Carolina that there's pushback, of course, from Democrats. What's really going on there? When I tell you, I have some stats. When I tell you how many kids are staying home because of illegal alien immigration enforcement in North Carolina, I think you're going to be pretty shocked. And it gives you a sense of how enormous the scale of illegal immigration is and the costs associated with this. You are paying for this, especially if you live in North Carolina or live in these districts where the kids are staying home. You're paying for English as a second language training in these schools. You are bringing in students from abroad who are going to be far behind. We already have too many Americans behind grade level. We're going to be way behind grade level and hold the rest of the class back. I mean, think about this. If English is not their first language and then they're put in these classrooms, there's just so much going on here. We'll talk to Michael Watley about the immigration enforcement component of this coming up. And like I said, we'll get to your calls here. Epstein files. Trump is signing it. Congress has said, all right, you're getting the files. Is this good enough? Assuming it happens, is this good enough? Is there more? What do you think? Give us a call. Look, Clay, unfortunately, doesn't have a rapid radio right now. Technically, I think that would be too far away in Italy. But rapid radios all across the United States are amazing. And I've talked to Clay on my rapid radio here in the U.S. Rapid radios are modern-day walkie-talkies. They work on the LTE network. They can connect anyone, anywhere in the U.S. holding the same device. If you've got kids who aren't ready for a cell phone, but you want to stay in touch with them, get a pair of rapid radios. They're durable, easy to use right out of the box. You just push a button and talk just like an old-school walkie-talkie, but with much better range. Rapid radios are also great during severe weather or service disruptions of any kind. And my family with my in-laws in North Carolina relied on them during Hurricane Helene. Rapid radios deliver peace of mind when it matters most. We don't know when the next storm or emergency will come, but we know we have a way to stay connected. This holiday, give a gift that protects the people you love. No monthly fees, no complicated setup, just pre-programmed, reliable communication when it counts. Because when everything else goes silent, rapid radios don't. Go to rapidradios.com. Make sure your family is never out of reach. That's rapidradios.com.
Want to be in the know when you're on the go? The Team 47 Podcast. Trump highlights from the week. Sundays at noon Eastern in the Clay and Buck Podcast feed. Find it on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's talk about what's going on in North Carolina. Our guest here, Michael Watley, running for a critical Senate seat there. Michael, appreciate you joining us here, calling in. Tell us, what has been going on with your state when it comes to illegal immigration enforcement? There's been some very interesting exchanges I'm seeing online.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing to kind of table set for all of your listeners is the fact that my opponent, Roy Cooper, when he was the governor of North Carolina, vetoed legislation which would have forced sheriffs to honor ICE detainers and move violent, criminal, illegal aliens out of the state. And so now we have a system where we have a revolving door that's putting these criminals back on the street. They are not being deported, and ICE has come in to make a number of arrests and help clean up the mess that Roy Cooper has created in North Carolina.
People who are trying to get a sense of the scale of the illegal immigration issue, I don't know if you saw this. It was being shared broadly online. This number that in the Charlotte public school system earlier this week, there were 21,000. Now, apparently the CMS data is not finalized yet, but basically 21,000 students missed school in just the Charlotte public school district on Monday, which they say is 15%. I mean, this is kind of stunning to think that many kids are affected by, because they have illegal immigrant parents. What's going on here? What can you tell us about this?
Well, I think it's stunning that when you look at the, millions of illegal immigrants that came across the border during Joe Biden's administration, 10, 15 million immigrants that came across, hundreds of thousands of them were known criminals who had records, and they still were released into states like North Carolina. The fact is that North Carolina should not be a border state, but we are a border state. And so, when we think about having ICE come in and be able to take these people off the street, and they're saying, there have been over 200 plus arrests so far. These are people who've been arrested who have criminal records, that people who are wanted for criminal records and need to be deported. It is absolutely a dereliction of duty for, the sheriff of Mecklenburg County, sheriffs of Wake County, which is Raleigh, or, Durham County, to not honor these ICE detainers. And it was a dereliction of duty for Roy Cooper to veto legislation, would have forced them to be able to do that.
What kind of drain on the budget has it been for the state of North Carolina to have? And can you give us a sense? There are some places we think about illegal immigration a lot, right? You think about New York City and the state of California, Texas, places along the border. The Carolinas don't necessarily come to mind right away, but can you give some sense of the scale and also the cost for the people of your state about illegal immigration and how much of an issue it has become?
Well, it's a huge issue. You know, when you talk about, the federal programs and the state programs to be able to help our needy, and the fact that we have, millions of people around the country, illegal aliens that were on Medicaid, the fact that we actually had to pass legislation as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill to take illegal aliens and say that they cannot be on Medicaid, and the fact that the Democrats were fighting extremely hard to try and put, those provisions back into place. When we look at food stamps, we look at the WIC programs, we look at, schools and all of the other costs that are out there, the societal costs for services for illegal aliens is absolutely stupefying. And it is remarkable that Democrats in North Carolina and around the country, including Roy Cooper, want to fight harder for illegal aliens than they do their own constituents.
We're speaking to Michael Whatley, former RNC chair and candidate for Senate in North Carolina. I know it's technically early in that cycle, Michael, but the Republican Party has already been, moving forward with your candidacy, trying to back things up, back you up in this, because I think they recognize, man, the Democrats, what kind of money are they going to put behind Roy Cooper to try to get this Senate seat?
Well, it's going to be the most expensive Senate race in the history of the country. We've seen estimates that this could be as high as $600 to $800 million that will be spent in North Carolina. We know the Democrats are going to pour hundreds of millions of dollars into the race. It's really they're one of two pickup opportunities that they have all around the country. Susan Collins up in Maine being the other one. And the fact is, we're going to have the support of President Trump. We're going to have the support of the grassroots. We're going to have the support, from people all across North Carolina to be able to go toe to toe with that out of state money. But, we look at, the amount of money that Roy Cooper is going to be able to bring in from around the country. And it's not daunting because, as we saw in the last election cycle, President Trump got outspent by $1 billion. Kamala Harris, raised and spent, $2.5 billion. But she had a terrible message. And, good policy is good politics. So we're going to win this race, even if we're outspent, because we're going to be focused on creating jobs and raising wages. We're going to be focused on keeping our kids and our communities safe. And obviously, this current conversation is a big part of that. And we're also going to focus on making sure that our men and women in uniform have what they need to protect our interests and our allies around the world.
I wanted to let you react to Josh Stein, the governor of North Carolina here, Michael. This is cut 17 on our sheet team. He's saying, well, I'll let everybody hear what he's saying. Play 17.
We've seen masked, heavily armed agents in paramilitary garb driving unmarked cars, targeting American citizens based on their skin color, racially profiling and picking up random people in parking lots and off of our sidewalks, going after landscapers simply decorating a Christmas tree in someone's front yard, and entering churches and stores to grab people. This is not making us safer. It's stoking fear and dividing our community. We are a nation of immigrants, and our state and this country is stronger because of our immigrant communities. Unfortunately, our immigration system is broken, but rather than fix it, the federal government continues to play politics with it.
So, Governor Stein in North Carolina, Michael, does he get all of his talking points from MSNBC? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is lock, stock, and barrel. The messaging platform from the far left, the progressive radical left. The fact is, if Roy Cooper had signed that legislation and sheriffs had honored their ICE detainers, then we probably would not need to have President Trump sending his administration down here and taking these people off of the streets. Nobody can dispute the fact that the hundreds of arrests that have been made are people who have criminal records and should not be walking the streets, whether it's in Charlotte or Raleigh or anywhere else in North Carolina. And the fact is that there are thousands of people who are in North Carolina jails right now that are not being turned over to ICE when they are illegal aliens. is a huge problem that is the fault of Roy Cooper. It's a total failure of leadership on his part.
Now, Roy Cooper, your opponent in this Senate race, going to be trying to convince everybody that, he's a pragmatic Democrat, one of the reasonable Democrats, right? I mean, we're seeing right now in real time what that actually means on, say, illegal immigration and the enforcement underway from the Trump administration. Democrats are expected to pretend that this is like the East German Stasi picking up innocent people off the streets, whatever. Where are some other key areas of difference between what you would bring to the United States Senate versus Roy Cooper? Just so we have a huge audience all across North Carolina, I want them to hear from you how you two guys would be markedly different and what that would mean in the United States Senate.
Well, we certainly could talk about the fact that he vetoed 6 different bills with tax cuts, balanced budgets, police pay raises, and teacher pay raises. And we can talk about the legislation that he vetoed that would have kept boys out of girls' sports and men out of women's locker rooms. But I think that probably the most important thing that we're going to need to talk about is keeping our kids and our communities safe. And Roy Cooper, when he was the governor in 2020, when we had Antifa and BLM rioting all across North Carolina, was out there marching with them in protest, and also signed an executive order that basically created cashless bail and pretrial release in North Carolina, created a revolving door for all of our criminals, and led to violent crime spikes in all major North Carolina cities. And that is the reason why we had Irena Zarotska, a beautiful young lady who was murdered in Charlotte, has kind of been held up as the most vivid example where her murderer had been arrested 14 different times and released under Roy Cooper's soft on crime policies. That we need to keep our kids and our community safe. That is the number one function for any government, whether it's state, local, or federal. And we need ultimately to have policies that are going to be set at the federal level to keep our kids and community safe. And we cannot trust Roy Cooper with it. But at the end of the day, this is going to come down to a vote in the Senate. And whether we're going to have somebody who will be an ally for President Trump and stand up for the conservative values of North Carolina, or are we going to have a radical, progressive, card-carrying member of the woke mob like Roy Cooper? And ultimately, at the end of the day, North Carolina is going to side with North Carolina values. They do not want a candidate who's going to fight every day harder for criminals and illegal aliens than he is his own constituents.
Well, Michael, make sure that you keep in touch with us here and our team so that as you get deeper into this race and you have, I'm sure, a debate that will happen with Roy Cooper. We want to get the word out and continue to talk about this one because, as you point out, it's North Carolina and Maine that are the big targets for Democrat pickup. So hundreds of millions of dollars going to be spent against you. A lot of it's going to come from Malibu and Manhattan. But anyway, as you already know, where can people go to follow what you're doing, help out, pitch in?
Excellent. MichaelWatley.com is the website, and they can follow me on X at WatleyNC.
Bring home the W for us, Michael. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Take care.
It's wintertime in Ukraine. Being cold is the least of problems, though, for many displaced individuals and victims of the nonstop war with Russia. It's a country that the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews are putting their focus on right now. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, with your donation, you can help bring hope to those in need. Your gift of $25 will provide a box full of life-saving essentials that will help feed families and individuals feeling ignored and left to fend for themselves. The IFCJ is a wonderful organization to partner with, and we're honored to have them in the Clay and Buck family. You can show your support with a gift for those living in war-torn regions like Ukraine. With Thanksgiving coming next week, now is the time to show gratitude by helping others. To rush your gift, call 888-488-IFCJ. That's 888-488-4325, or give online at fellowshipgift.org. That's fellowshipgift.org.
News and politics, but also a little comic relief. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. Find them on the free iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Then the space hamster flew his hot air balloon all the way to the bottom of the ocean.
Where did that story come from? Book? Dream? Nope, it came from a conversation. Meet Miko Mini Plus, the AI companion that co-creates personalized story adventures with your child in real time.
What color was the hamster's cape? And what did he pack for lunch?
Unlock your child's imagination. Discover Miko Mini Plus and the magic of AI exclusively at Costco.
Time for a sofa upgrade? Introducing Anabay Sofas, where designer style meets budget-friendly prices. Every Anabay sofa is modular, allowing you to rearrange your space effortlessly. Perfect for both small and large spaces, Anabay is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out. Say goodbye to stains and messes with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics that make cleaning easy. Liquids simply slide right off. Designed for custom comfort, our high-resilience foam lets you choose between a sink-in feel or a supportive memory foam blend. Plus, our pet-friendly, stain-resistant fabrics ensure your sofa stays beautiful for years. Don't compromise quality for price. Visit washablesofas.com to upgrade your living space today. Sofas start at just $699 with no-risk returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get early access to Black Friday now. The biggest sale of the year can save you up to 60% off, plus free shipping and free returns. Shop now at washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
American innovators are cracking the code on Alzheimer's. Real breakthroughs helping people keep their memories, their independence, their lives. We've got the best researchers in the world ready to defeat Alzheimer's. But first, they have to defeat bureaucratic red tape. That's where the Market Institute comes in. Their team is fighting to empower patients and unleash innovation. Join the fight at marketinstitute.org. That's marketinstitute.org, because when we free the market, we make America healthier.
And all the time we've been endorsing Pure Talk, my wireless company, I can honestly say I've never seen an offer like this from them before. Listen to this: unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data with a 30-gig hotspot for just $29.95 a month for life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan, normally $65 a month. Now through December 7th, just $29.95 a month. You're saving over 50% every month for life. Yes, that's on their crazy fast 5G network. But this offer is extremely short-lived. Make the switch today, then tell all your friends. Go to puretalk.com/buck for Pure Talk's best unlimited plan for just $29.95 a month for life. Make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. Keep your phone, keep your number, and start saving with unlimited for life for just $29.95 a month. Again, that's puretalk.com/buck to switch to my wireless company, Pure Talk.
Taxes and fees not included. Some restrictions apply. See puretalk.com for details. Offer ends 12/7/25.
America's Christian Credit Union stands firm in faith, serves the community, and delivers top financial services. With Elite Checking, earn up to 4% APY on balances under $15,000. Get paid early, enjoy loan discounts, and more. Because at ACCU, your money should reflect your mission. Visit americaschristiancu.com/elite to learn more. Early pay depends on when your employer sent your paycheck. We can't guarantee early direct deposit. APY equals annual percentage yield. America's Christian Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Couple of things today I want to throw into the mix for our conversation, for our rumination on, and want to get your thoughts on it for sure. I thought this was interesting. It plays into some broader narratives and concerns that we have. One is this Pew poll, Pew Research Center, came out just a few days ago, and it's making the rounds now, that 12th grade girls are less likely than 12th grade boys to say they actually want to get married someday. Now, more overall of 12th graders, so these are roughly 18-year-olds, right? Some are 17, some are 19, but 12th graders, I think, are basically 18 to 19. More of them say they would not get married someday, but not a lot more. But the thing that I found more interesting about the data here, and this is also the kind of polling where I don't think it's hard to do this pretty accurately. I think that you're asking for people's opinions. They're easy enough to find. They're going to share these opinions. So it's not some political incentive to mess with this data. It's not like an election or something. So I think that there's something that's concerning here and something that I actually find encouraging. I'll start with the concerning side of this. The concerning side of it now is that 61% of girls say that they want to get married someday. as if I'm reading this data correctly. Boys are more likely than girls to say they want to get married someday. 74% versus 61%. Only 61% of girls say they want to get married? What is going on here? Well, I think we know what's going on. Unfortunately, our society, and I think, look, I've only been around for a certain period of time, as you know. But for my entire adult life, to be sure, there has been this, I call it like the Sex in the City effect, the boss girl stuff. There has been a very clear effort in our culture, a broad effort in our culture, to tell young women to act like men, not to pretend they're men. That's also happening. That's a separate issue, right? That's the trans thing. But to engage socially, certainly professionally, as men do, and to view dating and hookup culture the way that men do, and instead of having legal equality and a legal right to choose their own destiny, they should view themselves more as equal, as in the same as men. And young women are not the same as young men. You and I know. This is not a recipe for long-term happiness for women. This is not going to result in good life choices for most of the women. There are always exceptions. We're talking about roughly, a big chunk of humanity here. We're talking about women in the, 18 to 30-year-old age range here. But I'll tell you, I know this just from, if we want to get anecdotal, I know so many women who are my age now, they're in their 40s, that I grew up with in New York, and they had nothing but options, and a lot of them are not married, and they're never going to have families now. And what would I say to them if they wanted to hear my opinion on this, which I don't think they do. They're probably not listening to this show, but they were completely misled by the culture. They were put down a pathway that was very likely to cause misery. And there are even little small things along the way here. I remember when I was graduating from college, everybody around me wanted to work at an investment bank or a management consultant firm. Maybe that was that's not just an Amherst thing. Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Dartmouth, Amherst, Williams, Haverford, Stanford, Duke, all these places. Everybody wants to. You want to come out of school. You want to make $150,000 your first year out of school, which is what you can make at some of these places as a 22, 23-year-old. And so that was what everybody wanted to do. But the hours, especially on the investment banking side, were absolutely miserable and brutal. 80, 90-hour weeks expected. That was, if you weren't going to sign up for that. And I just remember thinking, I was like, how many of the young women that I knew in that class, why do they want to do that? And this, some may say this is going to sound sexist. It's not sexist. It's just an objective view of reality. Men and women have different biological timelines that they're operating under. That is just a fact. Young women putting themselves in the cubicle farm from age 22 to, 30 to try to make VP at Goldman Sachs and grinding away indoors and do all this stuff. Should they be able to do this if they choose? Absolutely. Is this going to make most of them happy? Well, I can tell you, none of the ones that I knew lasted. None of them. Did it a couple years, maybe stayed in finance. They all stopped. Because guys work overwhelmingly. Why do guys work in finance? Why do guys do any job where they can try to make a comfortable living? Because they want to be an attractive partner, a mate, husband for a woman, so they can provide for a family. And, this is why these guys put themselves through this. And, the data on the other side of this is also very clear. They've run these experiments, and you don't even have to, you just think through the experiment. Guy sees a beautiful woman. She's wearing a power suit. She's a boss babe. Guy sees the same woman in a different context. She's wearing a McDonald's uniform. The percentage of guys who care about this is very small. Very small. Just a fact. Just the truth. They've done these experiments before, and we have led so many of these young women down this pathway, And it's my generation that I think it is. I'm a graybeard millennial. I do have gray in my beard. I'm a graybeard millennial. My generation was just DEI and the boss babe, Sex in the City stuff just decimated. Certainly the people who grew up in the big cities and were around this, really inundated with this culture. And it's still happening. These young women, you don't want to get married. I mean, you can sit and watch all these interviews that there's some very actually good podcasters who do these long form interviews with CEOs who are wildly successful. And one thing I've never heard, and some of these hosts, the Diary of a CEO guy, there's others, they're always told the same thing by these guys who have more money than they know what to do with, more success than they know what to do with. If they had a regret, it was, I wish I spent more time with my family. And if they're asked what they're most proud of and they have a family, you know what they say? Their family. I mean, this is all very, very much there for us. So I really think that there need to be more voices speaking to young women. Are not going to, some of you, by the way, very glad you're listening to this show, but I don't know if a 43-year-old guy telling women about their life choices is going to resonate with, 20 somethings who love Taylor Swift. Like, I understand that may not be my prime demographic for my message, but we need more women who can speak effectively to them. And it's for their own good because they're being led down a pathway that is not turning out well. And the fact that you're getting close to almost half of women don't want to get married. Young women, 18-year-old women, they don't want to get married. Now, you could say, oh, maybe they still want to have kids. And I would say to that, if you're going to have kids, you should get married. Okay? You should have a stable family formation. Shouldn't do this, the baby mama thing, or shouldn't do this. Yeah, producer Alec tells me some people are getting mad at Taylor Swift for getting married. No. This is very bad messaging they have. Okay. On the good, so that's on the bad side of things. Young women are being absolutely brainwashed, misled. It's terrible. I see it everywhere. And the results are just going to be a lot of misery for them later in life, or a lot of regret, I should say. People can find purpose in a lot of things. And I'm not saying you can't find purpose without a family, and certainly not saying you can't find purpose without having children. And a lot of people have difficulty having children, but we're talking, it's like policy. What is going to bring the greatest happiness results for the greatest number of people? Getting married, having a family, pursuing a life where you are focused day to day outside of your own needs and wants. It's so important. It's so important to have things that you care about: relationship with God, your wife, your husband, your kids, your immediate family, your family member that you're a caretaker or taking care of. You have to care a cause that's actually worthy, not like climate change, but an actually worthy cause. You have to care about things beyond yourself, because otherwise you'll just go through the scale of hedonic adaptation. Things get better, you get used to it. Materially, things get better, you don't care anymore. I was recently out with a guy, is a friend of a friend, very nice guy, and I'm not putting him down, but I just thought it was kind of funny. There's a car called a Pagani, which I think costs like $4 million, $6 million. It's a car. It costs millions of dollars. I don't know. Producer Allie, Google what a Pagani costs. It's absurd. And this guy has 8 of them. And let me tell you something. The 9th Pagani, he's probably going to lose it somewhere. Doesn't even care, right? You reach this point where that stuff doesn't matter. You have to find meaning in other things, meaning things outside of your immediate needs and wants. On the upside, though, of this same Pew poll, the fact that young men, and it's a huge problem for the Democrat Party. It's a huge problem for the woke left. Young men have gotten the message. Young men realize toxic masculinity is a toxic ideology of nonsense. They have realized that the suppression of traits within masculinity, bravery, courage, aggression concentrated in the right ways, that the suppression of these things, wanting to be the leader of a family, wanting to be the leader of a community, and whatever way that is, wanting to be a leader in the workplace, that the suppression of that is just absolute nonsense and really destructive. And young men are realizing this is why they are turning away from the Democrat Party. It's why young men are increasingly going back to, for those who are Christian, going back to church. They want more. They want to lead. They want to be spiritual leaders. They want to be people that they want to be someone that their wife can count on. Yes, to defend them, to protect them physically, but also emotionally and spiritually to be there for them. We want to have our roles. We want to pursue the best of what it is to be a man. Young men want to get married in greater numbers, according to Pew. They want to be masculine, not, just, I'm shooting up a lot of steroids and, I look like He-Man or whatever. No, it's about fulfilling their masculine imperative, their masculine destiny to be men, that they become good men. They get it in greater numbers, and it's just because of the failure of what the left is offering, the undermining and the hypocrisy and the smugness of our culture of leftism and liberalism and all this other nonsense that's just constantly degrading and pulling men down. They see it and they've had enough and they know there's something better. And I just truly hope that the young women of America are on the precipice of a similar renaissance, a similar rebirth of understanding. But I'm not sure. I worry. Women have been greatly misled, and the damage is just beginning, I think, to set in for many of them. Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's greatest heroes, like dedicated public servant Josh Bischoff. Josh began his firefighting career as a volunteer and quickly rose through the ranks to become CAL FIRE's Assistant Chief of Tactical Air Operations. Josh was driven by a deep sense of purpose and a passion for serving others. His leadership earned him great respect across the state of California and beyond. Then tragedy struck and 2 helicopters collided while fighting a California wildfire. Josh was killed in the crash. He leaves behind his wife, Cheryl, and their 2 children, Derek and Juliana. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation paid the Bischoff family's mortgage, lifting a financial burden and enabling Josh's family to focus on healing after unimaginable loss. Josh's family is committed to honoring his memory by living with the same drive, joy, and purpose that he did. Honor and help heroes like Josh and their families who have sacrificed so much. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Keep up with the biggest political comeback in world history on the Team 47 podcast. Clay and Buck highlight Trump replays from the week. Sundays at noon Eastern. Find it on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Then the space hamster flew his hot air balloon all the way to the bottom of the ocean.
Where did that story come from? Book? Dream? Nope. It came from a conversation. Meet Miko Mini Plus, the AI companion that co-creates personalized story adventures with your child in real time.
What color was the hamster's cape? And what did he pack for lunch?
Unlock your child's imagination. Discover Miko Mini Plus and the magic of AI exclusively at Costco.
I use Shipt same-day delivery to stay connected with my sister during the holidays. She lives across the country. Shipt has tons of stores to order from. Groceries from Albertsons, crafts from Michael's, even pet supplies from PetSmart. The list goes on. So when we have long-distance movie nights, I turn to Shipt to get face masks, snacks, and everything else we need delivered to her and to me same day. Download the app or visit Shipt.com. That's SHIPT.com.
When the job site gets loud and deadlines get tighter, your team needs a line of communication that won't quit. Rapid Radios keeps crews connected on construction zones, in warehouses, or across campus grounds. No delays, just crisp, reliable talk with the push of a button. Group chats, private calls, and battery life that goes for days, even in the toughest conditions.
Rapid Radios gets the job done. Clear comms, fast response, built for work. Visit rapidradios.com.
I'm Rodney Williams. And I'm Travis Holloway. Welcome to the Wealth Break Podcast, a real conversation about finance. Let's be honest. Building wealth doesn't look the same for everyone.
I feel like sometimes being broke is a cycle and that we might have to revisit that.
And we're not stopping at success stories.
What happens when it doesn't go right? How do you cope with it?
Because wealth isn't just about money. It's about creating a life where you thrive and help others do the same.
Listen to the Wealth Break podcast on the iHeartRadio app.
This holiday season, give the gift of incredible sound with Vizio's full soundbar lineup available at Walmart. Transform any living room into a home theater with rich, immersive audio that brings every movie, show, and song to life. Whether you're gifting a loved one or upgrading your own setup, Vizio soundbars deliver powerful, crystal clear sound that turns ordinary watching into extraordinary experiences. Stream your favorite holiday playlist with the iHeartRadio app and discover how good your music can truly sound. Head to walmart.com and find your perfect Vizio soundbar today.
This is an iHeart podcast.